told a lie, even a small one, and felt the weight of it on your conscience? Have you ever gossiped or spoken words that caused division between people, only to later regret the damage done? Have you ever used harsh words in anger, seeing the hurt in someone's eyes but feeling powerless to take them back? Or have you ever found yourself in meaningless chatter, wasting time and energy on words that served no purpose? If any of these resonate with you, this video might just change the way you think about communication forever. Words are more than just sounds or symbols. They're the most powerful tool we have, and yet, we often use them without thought. A single word, just one, has the power to inspire greatness, mend a broken heart, or spark a conflict that lasts a lifetime. Welcome to today's video, where we'll uncover how the words we speak can either elevate our lives or unknowingly drag us down. Think about it. Every word carries an energy, a purpose, and a consequence. Whether we're talking to loved ones, addressing a stranger, or even typing out a message online, our words create ripples that shape our reality. In this video, we'll dive deep into the wisdom of an ancient teacher, the Buddha, and his teachings on 4 types of speech we must avoid if we want to live a life filled with peace, trust, and positive karma. But here's the thing. This isn't just for Buddhists. These principles are universal and can guide anyone, regardless of belief, toward a better way of living. And let me ask you this. How often do you think about the intention behind your words? If the answer is not enough, don't worry, you're not alone. But by the end of this video, you'll not only understand the incredible power of mindful speech, but you'll also gain practical insights to transform your daily interactions. So, if you're ready to unlock the hidden potential of your words and learn how to communicate with purpose and compassion, stay with me. This could be the most meaningful 20 minutes of your day. Understanding the weight of words. Dive into the specific types of speech the Buddha advised us to avoid. Let's pause and reflect on why our words matter so much. Imagine this. You're having a terrible day, and someone unexpectedly says something kind. Just a simple, heartfelt word of encouragement. How does that make you feel? Now flip the situation. Imagine someone's harsh words, spoken carelessly, ruining what was supposed to be a wonderful moment. Words have the power to create memories, either beautiful or bitter, that can last a lifetime. The Buddha once taught that our speech is like a seed. Every word we say is planted in the soil of someone else's mind. Some seeds grow into lush, life-giving trees, while others turn into weeds that choke out joy and harmony. Think about your own life. What kind of seeds are you planting? In today's fast-paced world, where social media amplifies every voice, the weight of our words has never been heavier. A single comment can travel across the globe in seconds, influencing countless people we've never even met. But with great power comes great responsibility. And that's why the teachings of mindful speech are more relevant now than ever before. So, as we journey through this video, I want you to think about your own speech habits. Are there moments when you've spoken out of anger or frustration? Times when you've said something that wasn't entirely truthful? It's okay. We've all been there. What matters is that we learn to recognize these patterns and take steps to change them. Let's now explore the first type of speech to avoid, lying. This might seem straightforward, but there's much more to it than meets the eye. The first speech to avoid, lying. Let's begin with something we're all familiar with, lying. The Buddha taught that dishonesty is one of the most damaging forms of speech, not just to others, but to ourselves. And while we often think of lies as outright fabrications, the truth is, dishonesty comes in many shades: white lies, exaggerations, omissions, and even half-truths. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever told a lie thinking it was harmless, only to watch it spiral out of control? Maybe it was a little exaggeration on a resume or a white lie to avoid hurting someone's feelings. At first, it feels small, even inconsequential, but lies have a way of growing, wrapping us in a web that's hard to escape. The Buddha's teachings on truthfulness are clear. Honesty is the foundation of trust, and trust, in turn, is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship, whether it's between friends, family, colleagues, or even nations. Trust is what holds us together. When we lie, we chip away at that trust, creating cracks that can be difficult, sometimes impossible, to repair. Here's a story to illustrate this. In ancient India, there was a merchant known for his honesty. He never cheated his customers, even when it meant losing profit. One day, a wealthy trader tried to undercut him by spreading false rumors about the merchant's goods. At first, people believed the lies and avoided the merchant's shop. But over time, his unwavering honesty won them back. The trader, consumed by guilt, eventually admitted to his deceit and sought the merchant's forgiveness. What can we learn from this? Lies may give you a momentary advantage, but honesty builds a reputation that lasts a lifetime. It's not always the easiest path, but it's the one that leads to true peace and integrity. In our daily lives, avoiding lies doesn't just mean telling the truth when it's convenient. It also means being brave enough to face difficult truths, even when they're uncomfortable. It means rejecting the temptation to exaggerate or manipulate facts for personal gain. As we think about lying, it's also important to recognize the motives behind it. Why do we lie? Fear? Pride? Desire? When we understand the reasons, we can start to address the root causes and make better choices. So, the next time you're tempted to twist the truth, remember the ripple effects of your words. A single lie may seem harmless, but its consequences can echo far beyond what you intended. Let honesty be your guide, and you'll find that life becomes simpler, clearer, and more fulfilling. Up next, we'll dive into the second type of speech to avoid: divisive speech, the words we use that tear people apart instead of bringing them together. The second speech to avoid: divisive speech. Now, let's turn to the second form of unwholesome speech the Buddha warned us about: divisive speech. At its core, divisive speech involves using words to separate people, sow discord, or create conflict. It's gossiping, backbiting, or manipulating others to turn against each other, all for personal gain or sometimes simply out of spite. But why is divisive speech so harmful? Let's start with a simple truth. Relationships are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives. Whether it's the bond between friends, the trust between coworkers, or the love within a family, these connections form the foundation of our happiness and success. Divisive speech acts like a pair of scissors, cutting through those threads and leaving everyone involved weaker and more isolated. Imagine this scenario. A group of friends gathers for a casual evening together. One person starts gossiping about someone who isn't present, sharing exaggerated or even false stories. At first, it might seem harmless, a way to pass the time or feel closer to the group. But over time, trust erodes. The person being gossiped about feels betrayed, and the group begins to question each other's loyalty. The harmony is lost, all because of careless words. The Buddha emphasized that divisive speech often stems from negative emotions like jealousy, anger, or insecurity. When we feel threatened or envious, it can be tempting to bring others down to lift ourselves up. But in reality, this only creates more suffering for others and for ourselves. So, how can we avoid falling into the trap of divisive speech? Here are a few practical steps. 1. Pause before you speak. If you're about to share something negative about someone, ask yourself, is this true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these questions is no, it's better left unsaid. 2. Focus on unity. Use your words to build bridges, not walls. Compliment someone's strengths instead of pointing out their flaws. Celebrate shared goals instead of highlighting differences. 3. Address conflict directly. If you have an issue with someone, talk to them directly and respectfully. Involving others only adds fuel to the fire and spreads negativity. Here's a story that highlights the destructive power of divisive speech. In a small village, there was a wealthy landowner who wanted to expand his property. To do so, he spread false rumors about a neighboring farmer, accusing him of theft. The villagers believed the rumors, and the farmer's reputation was ruined. But years later, the truth came out, and the landowner faced public shame for his lies. By then, the damage was done, the community's trust was shattered, and it took generations to rebuild. Divisive speech may bring short-term gains, but it always leads to long-term pain. When we choose words that unite instead of divide, we create a ripple effect of harmony and trust that benefits everyone. Next, we'll explore the third form of speech to avoid, harsh speech, and why kindness in our words is more powerful than we often realize. The third speech to avoid, harsh speech. Let's move to the third form of unwholesome speech the Buddha taught us to avoid, harsh speech. Harsh speech refers to words spoken with the intent to hurt, belittle, or provoke. It's the angry outburst, the cutting remark, or the deliberate insult meant to inflict pain. Now, think about this. How do you feel when someone speaks to you harshly? Perhaps it's a moment of anger from a coworker, or a loved one says something cruel in the heat of an argument. Most of us feel hurt, rejected, or even humiliated. These moments stick with us, sometimes for years, creating scars that are hard to heal. The Buddha taught that harsh speech doesn't just harm the person it's directed toward. It also poisons the speaker's own heart. Anger, frustration, and negativity build up like toxins, clouding the mind and creating more suffering. But here's the silver lining. Just as harsh words can tear someone down, kind words can lift someone up. Imagine this. You're having a terrible day. Everything seems to go wrong, and you feel like giving up. Then, out of nowhere, someone offers you a genuine compliment or a kind word of encouragement. That small gesture has the power to completely transform your mood. Words are that powerful. So why do we resort to harsh speech? Often, it comes from a place of pain or frustration within ourselves. When we're angry, we lash out, hoping to release those emotions. But instead of solving the problem, harsh words usually escalate the conflict, deepening the divide. The Buddha's advice is simple yet profound. Speak with compassion, even in difficult moments. Here are 3 practical ways to practice this in your daily life. 1. Take a breath before responding in anger. Pause and take a deep breath. This moment of mindfulness can prevent you from saying something you'll regret. 2. Choose your words carefully, even when you need to address a problem or give criticism. Frame your words in a way that's constructive, not destructive. For example, instead of saying, "You're always late," try, "I feel stressed when meetings start late. How can we fix this?" 3. Listen with empathy. Often, harsh words come from a place of misunderstanding. Take the time to really listen to the other person's perspective before responding. Here's a story from the Buddha's time. There was once a monk who was constantly criticized and insulted by villagers. Despite this, he remained calm and never retaliated. When asked how he could stay so composed, the monk replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you choose not to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The same is true of harsh words. When we refuse to respond in kind, we break the cycle of negativity. Harsh speech is a habit that can be unlearned with practice and patience. And when we replace it with words of kindness, encouragement, and understanding, we not only uplift others, but also bring peace to ourselves. Next, we'll explore the fourth and final type of unwholesome speech, idle chatter. You might be surprised at how this seemingly harmless habit can impact your life. The fourth speech to avoid, idle chatter. Finally, let's delve into the fourth type of unwholesome speech that the Buddha advised us to avoid, idle chatter. At first glance, this might seem the least harmful of all, but don't be fooled by its innocent appearance. Idle chatter refers to meaningless, unproductive, or frivolous talk, words spoken without purpose or mindfulness. Think about it. How often do we fill the silence with unnecessary words just to avoid discomfort? Maybe it's gossiping about celebrities, speculating about events, or sharing rumors we aren't even sure are true. It might seem harmless, even entertaining at times, but idle chatter can drain our energy, waste our time, and sometimes lead to misunderstandings or conflicts. The Buddha compared idle chatter to scattering seeds on barren soil. No matter how many seeds you throw, nothing will grow. Similarly, words spoken without intention or care bear no fruit. They don't nurture relationships, solve problems, or bring joy. Instead, They clutter our minds and distract us from what truly matters. Let's take a moment to reflect. Have you ever spent hours in a conversation only to realize later that nothing meaningful was said? Or found yourself mindlessly scrolling through social media, engaging in endless small talk that left you feeling empty? That's the nature of idle chatter. It consumes time and attention without adding value to our lives. So how can we break free from this habit? The key lies in mindfulness and intentionality. Here are 3 steps to help you. 1. Be present. Before speaking, ask yourself, is this conversation necessary? Is it meaningful? If not, consider whether silence might be a better choice. 2. Prioritize quality over quantity. Instead of many shallow interactions, focus on fewer, deeper conversations that bring value and connection. 3. Practice active listening. Often, we engage in idle chatter because we're not fully listening. By truly hearing what others say, we can respond with thoughtfulness and purpose. Here's a story to illustrate this. A young monk once asked his teacher, "Why should I avoid idle talk if it doesn't harm anyone?" The teacher handed him a cup of water and asked him to walk around the monastery without spilling a drop. The monk returned, the water still intact. The teacher smiled and said, "Just as you focused on the water, focus on your words. Let them be purposeful and steady, not scattered and careless." This doesn't mean we should avoid lighthearted conversations or small talk altogether. Laughter, sharing stories, and enjoying each other's company are vital parts of human connection. But the key is balance. Recognize when your words are contributing positively and when they're veering into unproductive territory. When we let go of idle chatter, we make room for more meaningful communication, words that inspire, heal, and bring joy. And as we refine our speech, we also refine our minds, cultivating greater clarity and focus. With these 4 types of unwholesome speech, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, and idle chatter, we've explored how our words shape not only our relationships but also our inner lives. But why is all of this so important? Up next, we'll discuss the deeper connection between speech and karma and how every word we speak has the power to shape our destiny. The power of words, speech, and karma. Now that we've explored the 4 types of unwholesome speech, let's dive into one of the most profound teachings the Buddha shared, the power of words and their connection to karma. Everything we say creates an impact, not just on those around us, but on our own lives as well. The Buddha warned us to be mindful of our speech, not just because it affects others, but because it shapes our own destiny through the law of karma. Karma, in its simplest form, is the principle of cause and effect. It's the understanding that our actions, thoughts, and words all have consequences. Every word we speak is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of the universe. Some seeds grow into beautiful flowers, while others sprout into weeds that harm us and those around us. When we speak with honesty, kindness, and mindfulness, we create positive karma. Our words become a force for good, building trust, healing wounds, and promoting peace. But when we speak with lies, anger, divisiveness, or idleness, we plant seeds that can sprout into suffering, both for ourselves and others. Think about it. Have you ever had an argument with someone where harsh words were exchanged? In that moment, it might feel like the only way to win the fight is to strike back with even more anger. But what happens after the argument ends? The bitterness lingers. The pain doesn't disappear, and the relationship may never be the same again. That's the consequence of harsh speech, negative karma that leads to continued suffering. On the other hand, when we choose words that are truthful and compassionate, we create harmony, peace, and understanding. This positive karma can build over time, leading to a life filled with connection, trust, and joy. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. There was once a young man who was constantly angry and used harsh language toward everyone around him. He had strained relationships with his family, friends, and colleagues. One day, a wise elder told him, "Every word you speak is like a pebble thrown into a pond. If the pebble is rough, the ripples it creates will be harsh and violent. But if the pebble is smooth, the ripples will be calm and peaceful." The young man took these words to heart and decided to change his approach. He began speaking with kindness and mindfulness, and over time, his relationships healed, his stress levels decreased, and his life became more peaceful. The karma of his words had shifted from negative to positive, and it transformed his life. The Buddhist teachings encourage us to reflect deeply on our speech, because the words we choose today will shape the world we live in tomorrow. Our words can act as a powerful force of good, spreading joy and peace, or they can be weapons that cause pain and destruction. The choice is ours. In the next part of our video, we'll explore how to practice mindful speech in our everyday lives, and how we can cultivate words that bring healing, love, and light to ourselves and others. Practicing mindful speech in daily life. Now that we understand the power of our words and the deep connection they have with karma, the next question is, how do we put this wisdom into practice? How do we make sure that every word we speak is mindful, intentional, and aligned with our deepest values? In this section, I'll share some practical steps for cultivating mindful speech in our everyday lives. 1. Pause before you speak. In the heat of the moment, when emotions are high and tensions are rising, it's easy to blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. But if we pause before speaking, even for just a few seconds, we create space for mindfulness to enter. This pause allows us to consider the impact of our words before they leave our lips. The Buddha often emphasized the importance of right speech, which includes speaking at the right time, for the right reasons, and with the right intention. Before responding to a situation, ask yourself, is this necessary to say? Will this benefit the person I'm speaking to? Is this true? And is it spoken with kindness? By reflecting on these questions, we can avoid reactive speech that might harm ourselves or others. 2. Use words to uplift, not tear down. One of the most transformative aspects of mindful speech is using our words to lift others up. Think about how often we hear words of encouragement, gratitude, or love. How do those words make you feel? Inspired? Motivated? Valued? Now, imagine the opposite. What happens when we speak in a way that diminishes someone else's spirit? Harsh criticism or sarcastic comments might provide a moment of relief or entertainment, but they often leave wounds that last long after the conversation ends. The Buddha encouraged us to speak in ways that support the well-being of others. This doesn't mean we should avoid offering constructive feedback or addressing issues that need attention, but we can do so in a way that is gentle and respectful, helping others grow without diminishing their worth. 3. Engage in meaningful conversations. Mindful speech also involves knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Sometimes, the best way to practice mindful speech is simply by choosing not to engage in idle chatter, gossip, or unnecessary conversations. There's a saying, silence is golden, and it holds true in many situations. When we choose to engage in conversations that are meaningful, whether they're about personal growth, ideas, or shared experiences, we contribute positively to the world around us. Meaningful conversations deepen connections, foster understanding, and create space for growth. 4. Embrace active listening. Mindful speech isn't just about what we say, it's also about how we listen. Active listening is an essential part of mindful communication. It involves truly paying attention to the speaker, without interruption, judgment, or distraction. When we listen deeply, we show respect for the other person's perspective, and we allow ourselves to respond more thoughtfully and compassionately. Listening with mindfulness creates an atmosphere of trust and understanding, paving the way for more open, honest, and supportive conversations. 5. Speak with gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool in cultivating mindful speech. By expressing appreciation, acknowledging others' contributions, and recognizing the small blessings in our lives, we create positive energy in our interactions. A simple thank you or a kind word can make a big difference in someone's day and even inspire them to pay it forward. When we speak from a place of gratitude, we shift our focus from complaints and negativity to the beauty and goodness around us. Gratitude is a reminder that we don't take our words or relationships for granted, and it helps to create a ripple effect of positivity. 6. Practice regular reflection. Finally, One of the best ways to ensure that our speech remains mindful is to regularly reflect on how we communicate. At the end of each day, take a few moments to review your conversations. Were there moments where you could have chosen your words more carefully? Were there opportunities to be kinder, more patient, or more empathetic? This daily practice of reflection allows us to identify patterns in our speech and gradually shift towards a more mindful and positive way of communicating. Bringing it all together. Mindful speech isn't just about avoiding certain words or phrases. It's about cultivating a way of speaking that is rooted in wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness. It's about recognizing the power our words have to shape our world and the lives of others. The Buddhist teachings on speech are not meant to be a set of rules to follow rigidly, but rather a guide to help us navigate our relationships and interactions with greater clarity, kindness, and awareness. When we speak mindfully, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to the well-being of those around us. We create a world where words build bridges, heal wounds, and foster deep connections. As we conclude this video, I encourage you to reflect on the words you use in your daily life. Are they bringing you closer to your values and to the people you care about? Are they creating positive karma, or are they sowing seeds of negativity? Remember, every word we speak is a chance to create something beautiful in the world. Let's choose our words wisely and with intention. Thank you for watching, and may you all find peace and happiness in the words you speak, today and always. A journey towards mindful communication. As we come to the end of this video, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored today. The Buddhist teachings on the 4 types of unwholesome speech, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, and idle chatter, are more than just ancient wisdom. They are practical, timeless principles that guide us toward living with integrity, compassion, and mindfulness. We've seen how our words carry the power to shape our relationships, influence our karma, and create the world we live in. They can heal or harm, build or destroy, uplift or discourage. And the best part? The choice is entirely in our hands. Practicing mindful communication isn't about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about striving, day by day, to align our words with our values. It's about pausing before we speak, choosing kindness over anger, and seeking to connect rather than divide. It's about making our speech a tool for love, understanding, and positive transformation. So here's a challenge for you. As you go about your day, pay attention to the words you speak. Notice how they make you feel, how they affect others, and the energy they bring into the room. Start small, maybe by offering a compliment, speaking kindly to someone, or choosing to stay silent when gossip arises. These small steps, practiced consistently, can create profound changes in your life and in the lives of those around you. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a simple yet powerful reminder. Words are seeds. Choose the seeds you plant wisely, and you'll grow a garden that reflects the beauty, love, and kindness you bring into the world. Thank you so much for joining me in this exploration of mindful speech. If this video resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who might benefit from these teachings. And if you have any thoughts, stories, or experiences about mindful communication, I'd love to hear them. Leave a comment below, and let's continue the conversation. Until next time, may your words always bring peace, joy, and connection to yourself and to others. Stay mindful, stay kind, and may you be well and happy always. See you in the next video.